Okay, formally good morning again to all of you to this ADW subcommittee meeting, June 21st, 2023, 10 a.m., 10:01. And the first item in the agenda is to approve the agenda.
Charlie, you're on mute. Sorry, Commissioner Williamson.
So move.
Okay. Connie, would you second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
So approved. Moving on. First item in the agenda is the annual review of ADW licenses not up for renewal. There's a few there: Amwest, Churchill Downs, eBet Technologies, Naira Bets, ODS Technologies, and Premier Turf Club, DBA Bet PTC. Who's tackling that item in the agenda? Micah or Connie?
I'll take it. Thank you, Commissioner Conde, Commissioner Williamson. I have done a full review of all the ADWs that are licensed in the Oregon Racing Commission. My reports should be within the packets that were sent to you. Reviewed the historical tax payments, the requirements as listed within the Oregon Racing Commission OAR rules and statutes, and I have found no issues across the board on any of them. And my recommendation is as such that they continue to be licensees in good standing with the ORC.
Okay, thank you. Given that they're not up for renewal, there's actually no vote that we have to take on any. We're just following up and making sure they continue to abide by the rules and regulations. Question that I have in terms of that review, I know that the Secretary of State's audit has not been published yet, the final version, but I believe Ms. Wynn had an opportunity to review it. Was there anything in that report from the Secretary of State pertaining to our review process, and perhaps any suggestion that we have followed, or was it mute in terms of anything related to the ADW review process or license review process?
We have actually been advised to check fully with the authorities, in this case, probably the Department of Justice, for a technology that may be more advanced than our statutes. We have put an inquiry in with the DOJ. That will probably take several months. So we are operating as we have been in the past. But that inquiry is there to assure that there is no technology that does not comply with current statutes and the Constitution.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Micah, for the report. Any questions on those reports? In the packet that we received via email, we have a full report prepared by Micah, and at the bottom there you can see that on all of those the same comment comes up: no issues noted or no concerns. If anyone has any questions, now it's the time. Commissioner Williamson, anything?
No, that's terrific. Thank you, Micah.
Awesome. So moving forward, yes, Ms. Wynn.
Micah, would you mind reading when the audits were last done, just so we know that they were all complete on-site audits?
Certainly. The Amwest audit, last audit was December 29th, 2022. No issues were reported. The Churchill Downs last audit was December 29th, 2022. No issues reported. The eBet Technologies last audit was February 23rd, 2023. No issues reported. Naira, the last audit was August 5th, 2022. No issues reported. ODS DBA TVG, last audit was April 4th, 2023. No issues reported. And Premier Turf Club, Last audit was March 17th, 2023. No issues reported.
And one other question, I also noted that you had a form in there for US off track. Would you like to address that?
I would, thank you. US off track also, their last audit was in March of 2022. No issues were reported. US off track has submitted their intention to cease operating within the state of Oregon and move their license to run a multi-jurisdictional hub outside of state. It's important, I think, to note that this is not a year that they were up for renewal. This is just simply a review year for them. As such, there's no reason why they couldn't continue being licensed within the state of Oregon. However, there are two components within their annual review that are still missing. One is a source market fee with someone like HRA. And the other issue would be a $200 per day operating fee. So with those two items still pending, there would be no reason why they couldn't continue operating within the state of Oregon. However, their intention is to cease as of June 30th, 2023, in approximately 2 weeks.
Okay. And Connie, question for you. Would we be charging the $200 fee up to the time up to June 30th, or how would we go about that? They have declared their intention not to renew for quite a few months now. So how are we handling that fee situation?
So provided that they do cease all operation on the 30th, as they have informed us that they will not be charged beyond that. They have paid up through the 30th of June already.
Okay.
And they are paying their weekly fees to us and are, I'm assuming, up to date, Micah?
Correct. Yes, all taxes and fees are current and paid.
Okay. I misunderstood
reason,
that then. Okay.
Yeah, if for some reason they request to stay beyond the 30th of July, if something, or June, if something happens, we of course would have to first receive that $200 a day fee if they needed to, for some reason, to extend it.
Okay. We're talking about the subject, about that topic. It's number 4 in the agenda. Is there anything else to say about US off track regarding them leaving our jurisdiction because of the recent legal issues or legislative issues that have come up?
Negative.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's move on to what would be the last item in the agenda, item number 3 in the under new business, a review of ADW applications for renewal. We have 2 of them, Gameplay and ExpressBet.
Thank you. Yes, I have done rather extensive analysis of both businesses in anticipation of this year's renewal process. And if you have those PDFs open in front of you, you can see the detail of each requirement as listed within the Oregon Administrative Rules. And I have noted that across the board, every single one of their requirements are in compliance. Last audits for Gameplay Network was March 1st of 2023, and it showed them to be in full compliance of our OARs. All taxes are paid for. Their bond is correct and up to date. Their Oregon business license is in good standing with the Secretary of State. Have confirmed player funds are segregated. They have a source market fee agreement in place, etc. Across all aspects, everyone is in compliance, and my recommendation is that their renewal be approved.
Okay. One question or comment that I had, I noticed in your report for ExpressBet that in their regarding their responsible wagering, you noted their policies to be exceptional. Is there anything in particular that they are doing that you believe we should recommend to other ADWs. I respect the fact that they are private businesses, and if they operate under the rules and regulations, that's all we can enforce. But if we can somehow suggest that they too have exceptional policies, that would be great. Is there any one thing that caught your eye and or your attention?
Nothing I think I can speak towards in this open committee.
Mhm.
It is something I look at very closely with all my audits and suggest strongly towards best practices. Let me just leave it at that.
Okay. At some point, Connie and I, this is off the agenda, but side note, we should sit down, all of us, and develop those best practices, and have them set out, and perhaps those best practices become the rule, or we very respectfully suggest to other companies to follow those best practices, not just the good regulations that we have in place and that the whole nation has in place. I think we've been leaders in the industry, so we should lead and lay the foundation for best practices to be followed in that regard.
Commissioner Condi, I'm glad you recommended that, and you may remember we've had some task force on this.
Mhm.
ExpressBet has done some phenomenal things, and I respect the fact that we some of those are business practices that we want to keep confidential, but they do have some excellent opt-out policies and practices, as well as other responsible wagering training, which we do recommend. One of the things that we wanted to do, and unfortunately can't because of some changes to losing HHR and US off track, is we had at one time planned on developing a database that would allow them to anonymously report responsible wagers, people who have opted out due to wagering issues, gambling problems across all ADWs. It's still something that we would really like to do in the future. We just don't have the funding for it at this time. So it may be something we can do later on in the future. I also want to remind everyone that our newest commissioner, which will be sworn in this Friday, has a counseling background and some expertise in responsible wagering. So we may even want to consider another task force, or even perhaps looking at a committee just for responsible wagering in the future, since that is very important to us.
Yeah, let's look into it, because I think our minds are in the right place, and we just need to develop this a little further.
If I could also add, thanks to, I believe, Commissioner Williamson's comments on an earlier meeting, ORC meeting earlier this year, emphasizing the review process around responsible wagering. It has been a specific talking point in my audits with all of the ADWs to review and go more in depth on their process, and share with them the strong desires by the ORC to have this as a focal point of your business practice.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
It seems to me that this committee would be the best place to have the responsible wagering considered or assigned to this committee. And our new member could take my place on this committee for that purpose if the commission wishes. I would just like to move that we approve both ADWs and recommend to the commission that they be renewed.
Yeah, I don't procedurally, if we need, well, maybe we need a vote, but let's go ahead. There's that motion. Connie, would you second that motion to approve the ADWs that are subject to approval?
You're muted.
You're muted, Connie.
You were muted.
There.
I know Micah loves saying you're muted. I second that.
Okay, so the motion on the table is for this subcommittee to pre-approve the license, such approval, and to recommend to the ORC in full to so move forward and approve. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
So approved. Okay, Charlie, I see what you're doing there with your kind suggestion, but I think it's a smart one, and we should perhaps consider having that new commissioner take your place in this subcommittee. So we'll think about it and give you another job, not just let you let you off the hook.
I'm just trying to help get everybody on the committee that has, I'm glad to stay, but I don't know if we can have 3 people on the committee.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, folks, anything else?
Nothing from my end.
Okay, with that, I think we are adjourned.
Do we have public comments before we adjourn?
Do we?
It's not on the agenda, is it? That's just the commission.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.